Hey everyone, welcome back to Strength Foundation. So, if you're gearing up for your NSCA-CPT exam, you know Chapter 18 is a big one. It's all about those clients who need a little extra know-how. Think of this as your personal coach's playbook. We're going to break down the 3 key special populations you'll definitely be working with. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to cover the essentials of training special populations, then dive into the playbook for pre-adolescent youth, older adults, and pregnant clients. And stick around, because at the end, we'll do a quick review to make sure you've got this stuff locked in for exam day. So, this is Chapter 18, clients who are pre-adolescent, older, or pregnant. And honestly, the biggest takeaway from this whole chapter is simple. One size does not fit all. Each of these groups, youth, older adults, pregnant clients, they have really unique physiological needs. And look, mastering this isn't just about checking a box on your exam. It's about being a great coach. Someone who's safe, effective, and truly confident. All right, first up in the playbook, pre-adolescent youth. You know, when we work with this group, it's such an incredible opportunity. We're literally helping build a foundation for a lifetime of health. But, and this is a big but, it comes with a very specific set of rules we've got to follow. So first things first, let's get on the same page about who we're actually talking about here, pre-adolescents. What is it? It's that period of time before secondary sex characteristics start to develop. Now, for your exam, you're going to want to lock these numbers in your brain. It's roughly ages 6 to 11 for girls and 6 to 13 for boys. That's the specific window we're looking at. Okay, let's just tackle the biggest myth head-on, right out of the gate. We've all heard it a million times, right? Don't let kids lift weights, it'll stunt their growth. Well, I'm here to tell you that is a complete myth. The old thinking was that it could damage their growth plates, but science has shown us that's just not the case. With the right supervision and good technique, resistance training isn't just safe, it's actually incredibly beneficial. So let's officially put that one to bed. All right, get your highlighters out because this is a huge exam alert. If there is one single number you remember for this population, make it this one, 60. 60 minutes. Youth should be getting 60 minutes or more of moderate to vigorous physical activity every single day. This is a cornerstone guideline, and I would be shocked if you don't see it on your test. And remember, we're not just talking about a formal workout. This is everything: active play, sports, riding a bike to school, you name it. So why do we do this? What are the actual benefits? Well, they are absolutely massive. And it goes way beyond just getting stronger. We're talking about building stronger, denser bones. We're talking about sharpening motor skills. And here's a huge one for any young athlete. It makes them so much more resistant to sports-related injuries. Plus, you get all these amazing improvements in body composition and even mental health. It's a total win-win. Okay, this slide is basically your recipe for success, your non-negotiables. Number 1, and this is huge, qualified adult supervision. Always. The environment has to be safe and clear of hazards. Now, for the nitty-gritty you'll see on the exam, you start with just 1 or 2 sets of 8 to 12 reps. And when you increase the weight, keep it gradual. We're talking tiny jumps, like 5 to 10%. And that's because their muscles get strong fast, but their tendons need more time to catch up. This is how you prevent injuries. 2 or 3 training days a week on non-consecutive days, and always, always finish with a cool down. These details, pure gold for your test. All right, let's turn the page in our playbook to older adults. And let me tell you, this is probably going to be the largest and most varied group of clients you'll ever have the pleasure of training. So with this population, our whole focus kind of shifts. It's less about building from scratch and more about preserving and, improving their ability to function and enjoy life to the fullest. Now, if you want to be an effective coach for older adults, you have to know your enemy. And that enemy has a name: sarcopenia. It's just a fancy word for the progressive loss of muscle mass that happens as we age. And this isn't about looking good in a swimsuit. This is a direct attack on someone's independence and their quality of life. But we have a silver bullet. Our number 1 weapon against sarcopenia? You guessed it, resistance training. And this picture right here, it shows you exactly what we're up against. It's a perfect illustration of what happens when we don't intervene. As you can see, muscle mass goes down and fat mass tends to go up, even if the number on the scale doesn't really change that much. That right there is sarcopenia in action. But, and this is the best part, the great news is that this is so reversible. So just how reversible is it? Get a load of this. In the first few months of a solid resistance training program, older adults can pack on about 1.5 pounds of pure muscle every single month. That is an amazing and frankly, rapid reversal of sarcopenia. It is all the proof you need that it is absolutely never too late to build strength. Okay, let's talk programming. Your eyes should be glued to this chart. Another big exam alert for you. What you're seeing here is that classic inverse relationship. As the resistance or the weight goes up, the number of reps you can do goes down. Makes sense, right? Now, the textbook recommends that for beginners, you'll want to start in that 10 to 15 rep range to build a really solid foundation. Then, as they get stronger, you can move them into that muscle building sweet spot of 8 to 12 reps. But hey, it's not all about pumping iron, right? Aerobic training is just as crucial for overall health. So for your exam, you're going to want to have these FITT guidelines down cold. Look at the frequency. We're aiming for at least 5 days a week of moderate work, or 3 if it's vigorous. And for intensity, we often use a simple 1 to 10 scale of how hard it feels. It's a super practical tool to use with these clients. The big word here is adaptation. You have to be a great coach and tailor everything to the person in front of you. For example, if someone has poor balance, does it make sense to put them under a free weight barbell right away? No way. You start them on machines where they have support. If they're prone to injury, you slow things down. You focus on controlled movements. These aren't just nice suggestions. They are absolutely essential for keeping your clients safe and helping them get results. Okay, let's dive into the final section of our playbook, training pregnant clients. And with this group, the number one goal is simple: support a healthy pregnancy for both the mother and the baby. Safety is everything, and that means you have to be super aware of the incredible physiological changes going on, things like their center of gravity shifting and their joints becoming more lax. It wasn't that long ago that the standard advice for pregnant women was just rest, take it easy. We now know that is completely outdated. I mean, just look at this list of benefits. We're talking a reduced risk of serious complications like preeclampsia and gestational diabetes, an easier labor, a faster recovery after birth, not to mention huge boosts to mood and self-concept. This is such powerful stuff to share with your clients. Okay, team, listen up. If you only remember one slide from this whole presentation, make it this one. This is mission critical for your exam and, more importantly, for your career. You absolutely must know the difference between absolute and relative contraindications. Absolute, that means exercise is a hard stop, no go. Relative, that means you pause, and the client has to get the green light from their doctor before you do anything. Your client's safety literally depends on you knowing this inside and out. Whew, we have covered a ton of ground. So now, let's make sure it all sinks in. It's time to lock in that knowledge. We're going to run through a few practice questions, just like what you might see on the actual exam. Think you're ready? Let's find out. Okay, question 1. What is the recommended amount of time youth should be encouraged to participate daily in moderate to vigorous physical activity? Is it A, 15 minutes, B, 30 minutes, C, 45 minutes, or D, 60 minutes? If you said D, 60 minutes, you are spot on. That is that magic number from the national guidelines we talked about. All right, next up, on average, resistance exercise enables older adults to increase muscle mass by how much over a few months of resistance training? Your options are A, 1 pound, B, 3 pounds, C, 5 pounds, or D, 8 pounds. Now this one is a little tricky, isn't it? The correct answer here is actually A, 1 pound. And I know what you're thinking, but the question says a few months. This is one of those questions designed to test if you remember the core stat, which is roughly 1 to 1.5 pounds per month. They want you to recall that key monthly figure. It's a good reminder to always look for the most fundamental piece of data in the question. Okay, here's the next one. The NSCA recommends that older adults begin resistance training with loads that can be lifted for approximately how many repetitions? A, 2 to 4, B, 4 to 8, C, 10 to 15, or D, 20 to 25. The key word there was begin, and the correct answer is C, 10 to 15 reps. Why? Because this range is perfect for building up muscular endurance and getting all their tissues ready for the heavier work that's going to come later. And our last review question: which of the following is not a benefit of exercise during pregnancy? A, shorter active phase of labor, B, fewer obstetric interventions, C, increased possibility of preeclampsia, or D, reduced postpartum belly? That's right, the answer is C. Exercise doesn't increase the risk of preeclampsia, it does the exact opposite. It's one of the best ways to help reduce the risk. So that's a wrap on our playbook for Chapter 18, but I want to leave you with this final thought. All this information, the reps, the sets, the guidelines, these are your tools to help people build physical strength. But the real art of being a great coach, that's taking these principles and using them to build confidence, to build resilience, and to help your clients discover a love for movement that will stick with them for the rest of their lives. So, as you study, ask yourself this: how are you going to apply this knowledge to build up the whole person, not just their muscles? Thanks so much for joining me. Now go crush that exam.